Saints are making a move that could either ignite this offense or leave the front office searching for answers by midseason. This massive gamble centers around Jordan Tyson, who was just taken with the 8th overall pick. Fans are already divided because passing on a sure thing for a high-ceiling wide receiver is a dangerous game. It is a decision that puts the entire season on the edge. Jordan Tyson is now a New Orleans Saint, and the reaction across the city is nothing short of explosive. While some are celebrating the arrival of a dynamic playmaker from Arizona State, others are scratching their heads in pure frustration. The tension comes from the fact that Ohio State safety Caleb Downs was sitting right there on the board. Downs was widely considered the safest pick in the draft and a player who could have transformed our secondary into the best in the league immediately. But Mickey Loomis decided to play his hand differently. If this really happens and Tyson becomes the star we need, everything changes for us, so subscribe now so you do not miss the next update on this developing story. Loomis is essentially a poker player who just pushed all his chips into the center of the table with a hand that is far from a sure thing. He passed on a defensive cornerstone to give our young quarterback Tyler Show another weapon. We all know the situation in the wide receiver room is thin. Beyond Chris Olave, there was almost nothing to work with, which makes the logic clear, but the risk remains massive. Olave has dealt with concussions, and the rest of the unit has struggled with lingering injuries. One fan even joked that Tyson will not make it through training camp without a hamstring pull. That is the kind of skepticism Loomis is fighting against right now. He chose the open-ended straight draw over the guaranteed pair of aces. It is a bold move that ignores the defensive needs to prioritize offensive explosive potential. This team spent big money on Travis Etienne in free agency, so the vision is to build a high-powered scoring machine that can keep pace with anyone in the NFC. But if the defense suffers because we ignored a talent like Downs, the heat on the front office will be unbearable. This pick is about trust and whether you believe Loomis knows more than the critics who are currently shouting from the rooftops. We need to understand that this move is a total pivot in philosophy for a team that has often relied on its defense to keep games close and competitive. The stakes are huge now. Mickey Loomis has built a reputation on being aggressive, but this move feels different because of the sheer talent left on the table. The focus is entirely on the new wide receiver and whether he can survive the physical toll of the professional game. We have seen flashes of greatness from him at the collegiate level, but the jump to the big leagues is where many prospects fall apart. The gap between his potential and the current reality of our roster is what is keeping people awake at night. This young man has to be more than just a depth piece. He has to be a primary target who can take the pressure off the rest of the group. Loomis is betting that the offense was the missing piece to a deep playoff run. He looked at the empty cupboards at the wideout position and decided that a gamble was better than playing it safe with a defensive back. There is a lot of pressure on this kid to perform from day one because the fans are already looking for reasons to criticize the selection. If he struggles or misses time with an injury, the narrative will quickly turn into a disaster for the general manager. We are talking about a franchise that cannot afford to waste top 10 picks on players who are not ready to contribute. The front office is sweating because they know the margin for error is razor thin this year. We need a star to emerge alongside our existing talent to make this vision work. The conflict is simple to see. On one side, you have a high-upside athlete who could break games open, and on the other, you have a history of roster moves that have left us wanting more. It is a calculated risk that reflects the high-stakes environment in New Orleans right now. Every catch and every route will be scrutinized by a fan base that has seen its fair share of missed opportunities in recent seasons. The future of this scheme depends on his ability to stay healthy and productive every single week. This decision simply means we are going to see a lot more points on the board or a lot more frustration on the sidelines. The goal for this season is to score more than 18 points a game, and moving that number up to 23 or higher is the only way to compete. By adding a new weapon, the team is trying to make life easier for the quarterback. If this works, it could help them win more games simply because the opposing defenses will not be able to double-team our best players anymore. Having two dangerous threats on the outside changes the way the entire field looks. It opens up lanes for the running game and gives the play caller more options in critical moments. But the consequence of failure is just as clear. If the defense cannot stop anyone because we failed to bring in a premier safety, then scoring 23 points might not be enough. This move tells us that the team believes outscoring opponents is the path to success this year. It is a strategy built on speed and offensive firepower rather than traditional defensive grit. For the older fans who remember the days of dominant defenses, this might feel like a strange direction to take. However, the modern game rewards teams that can move the ball quickly and efficiently. If our new receiver can stay healthy and learn the system fast, he will be the key to unlocking a very dangerous offensive unit. On the other hand, if he is sidelined with the same issues that have plagued our other players, the season could spiral out of control very quickly. We are looking at a situation where one player's health and development will dictate the success of the entire team. It is a lot to put on a rookie, but that is the reality of being a top 10 pick. The impact of this choice will be felt in the win column immediately, and there is no room for excuses once the games begin for us. We are watching to see if this gamble pays off. Let us look at the two paths this could take, because the contrast is staggering. In the best-case scenario, the rookie comes in and looks like a veteran from the very first snap. He provides a perfect complement to our existing stars, and the offense becomes a nightmare for defensive coordinators to plan against. We see a high-flying team that can strike from anywhere on the field, and the gamble by the front office looks like a stroke of genius. This would justify the decision to pass on a safe defensive player and prove that adding offensive weapons was the right priority. But if it fails, the situation gets complicated very fast. Imagine a scenario where the young receiver spends more time in the training room than on the field. The defense struggles to get off the field because they lack that elite playmaker in the secondary that was available in the draft. Fans would be rightfully angry seeing a top talent like Caleb Downs thriving elsewhere while our offense remains stuck in neutral. Emotional tension is real because we have seen this story before. We have seen high draft picks struggle to stay active, and it can drain the energy out of an entire organization. If this works, the sky is the limit for what this team can achieve in a competitive division. But if it fails, it could lead to a total rebuild and a change in leadership. Stakes could not be higher for everyone involved, from the coaching staff to the general manager. It is the classic high-risk and high-reward scenario that defines professional sports. We are all waiting to see which version of the story unfolds when the lights get bright. The uncertainty is what makes this so captivating and nerve-wracking at the same time. This is not just about one player, but about the identity of the team moving forward. We are either building a powerhouse or making a mistake that will haunt the franchise for years to come and hurt us all. This is the reality today. The New Orleans Saints have officially taken their biggest gamble in years by selecting Jordan Tyson at number 8. It is a move that ignores the safe path and doubles down on offensive potential. We are looking at a team that is desperate to find its spark, and they are banking on a rookie to provide it. The controversy is not going away anytime soon, especially with elite defensive talent being passed over in the process. This decision will define the legacy of the current front office and determine the trajectory of our upcoming season. Be honest with yourselves for a moment. Would you have played it safe with a defensive star? Or do you agree with this aggressive move for a wide receiver? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments right now, because this is a debate that is just getting started. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you can stay ahead of every major update. This is not just a pick for today, but a decision that will define this team for years, and the fans deserve the very best results. Let us go!